and welcome to Hong Kong. It's been my home for the past 538 days. Today is July 19th, 2021. In Hong Kong we wear masks almost anywhere and for everything. Those are the regulations, and it's in the culture as well. We set out with this project, Once Upon a Saga, a long time ago. Day one was the 10th of October 2013, when I left Denmark, crossed the border into Germany. And here we are now. Here we now are in Hong Kong, 194 countries later, with 9 countries remaining. Those 9 countries are all island nations with no ferry connections. And they are called Palau, Vanuatu, Tuvalu, Samoa, Tonga, New Zealand, Australia, Sri Lanka, and the Maldives. Why am I still in Hong Kong? Almost everyone and anyone, they abandoned their projects somewhere within this pandemic and they went home. So why didn't I? Well, some people, they think I have a great deal of patience. Some people think it's sheer determinism, stubbornness, dedication. I don't know. I don't know why I didn't go home. I'm not aware that there are any travelers out here that were trying to reach every country in the world who didn't abandon their projects or delay them by going home. But within Once Upon a Saga, we have 3 cardinal rules. One is I cannot fly at any point. If I fly, then the project would be over. Another rule is I must spend more than 24 hours within a nation before I can count it as a valid visit. That means 23 hours and 59 minutes just wouldn't cut it. And the final rule, I cannot go home until I reach the very last country, or if I quit the project. That keeps it an unbroken journey, one single journey. I set the rules, I can break the rules, but I've spent more than 7.5 years of my life, and that's every day of the past 7.5 years of my life, getting to this point. Am I willing to throw that away? I don't think so. But the price is getting higher and higher every day. I miss friends and family back home. I miss the convenience of being in Denmark, speaking my own language, shopping in Danish grocery stores, knowing the climate, knowing the insects, the animals. I miss home. Home is home. Home is home for nearly everyone on this planet. And interestingly enough, I now have a great deal of friends in Hong Kong who were not born in Hong Kong, but who definitely see Hong Kong as their home. Yeah. Well, here we are. Why can I not just jump on board a ship and go to one or any of the remaining 9 countries? Well, the pandemic has set a great deal of limitations. And the shipping industry has felt this to great extent. So the way container ships they operate is that there's a crew on board and they sign on, have a contract, and they stay on board for 3 months, 4 months, 5, 6, 7, 8 months, and then they rotate off and they go back home. At which point someone else comes on board the ship and replaces them. But with all the restrictions throughout this pandemic, that has become a true nightmare for the shipping industry. Crew change has in some cases become absolutely impossible. And bringing a bearded traveler with a hat on board is not a first concern to anyone right now. Yeah, so there's that. The same travel restrictions, they prohibit me from traveling into several of our remaining 9 countries. And on top of everything, as far as I'm informed, Hong Kong immigration, who have been very, very kind, very forthcoming, and very supportive of Once Upon a Saga, I'm grateful for that. They have set down a temporary rule, which is that I cannot leave Hong Kong on board a container ship. I can leave Hong Kong through the airport on an airplane. So there's that. Yeah, we need to find a way to leave Hong Kong on board a ship. That could be a sailboat. That could be a container ship. That could be anything that floats. And it's not easy. It's downright nearly impossible these days. And it has been for quite a while. Then we also need to convince the government of a country to let us in. So even if we did get passage on board a vessel, how would we get inside the next country? And then we need to talk to Hong Kong immigration, and I'm sure we could manage that one way or the other, but that's also a barrier. I'm very fortunate to be in Hong Kong though. Hong Kong has a lot to offer, and the regulations in Hong Kong have been manageable within the pandemic. Although I have not been able to leave Hong Kong, I've been free to walk about, enjoy nature, go to cafes. Most of the time I've been able to go to museums, been able to go and visit friends, go and explore. Yeah. It's quite fortunate because Hong Kong is not regarded as a country within Once Upon a Saga. There was no other reason to come to Hong Kong other than to make transit. I arrived on board a container ship. I was supposed to be here for 4 days and then head off to Palau on another container ship. So imagine the irony that we have now spent more time in Hong Kong than anywhere else on this planet. And we were not even destined to come here. I could easily have been stuck on board a ship or some small island in the Pacific, which would have offered far less opportunity than what Hong Kong has. Yeah, luck is relative, just like many other things are relative. There's a lot of work within Once Upon a Saga. It's a lot of work. Social media hardly reflects the reality of this project. And yet, it does reflect something within this project. I continue to try to promote what I find positive: culture, people, history, small curiosities. I try to stay fit, try to promote that. I try to promote the world's largest humanitarian organization, the Red Cross in as many ways that I can think of. We've paid a visit to either the Red Cross or the Red Crescent in 189 nations across the world, which is no small thing. I do a lot of interviews. Sometimes I do motivational speaking. I have my job at the Danish Seamen's Church, which is also quite fortunate, because without that job I could probably not stay in Hong Kong. But with a job, I have a work visa, and that permits me to stay here. All in all, it's a good situation, but it all sucks. I would have been home somewhere around October 2020 without the pandemic. If we had just followed the timeline, if we boarded the ships we were supposed to, then we would have been able to go out and visit the remaining 9 countries. And there's no saying what's going to happen within this pandemic. Right now the world is dealing with the Delta variant, and I find it hard to believe that we're not going to see another variant, which we will then be dealing with later on. There's a lot of reluctance around the planet in terms of getting vaccinated. I've been vaccinated. I got vaccinated as soon as I could. Got vaccinated here in Hong Kong, got both jabs. But at this point it makes very little difference to me in terms of reaching the final 9 countries. Yeah, the pandemic continues. We're all dealing with it in one way or the other. For some people, the pandemic is more or less over, and some people are living in the thick of it, and they're seeing people die every day. It's a really uneven pandemic in an uneven world. The wealthy nations are doing well, the others not so much. I have my problems, you have your problems. Everyone has problems. Some problems are bigger, some problems are smaller. Yeah. But what can we do? We can keep on keeping on. We can get up in the morning. We can start each day and go out and make the best of it. That's what we can do. We can try to be kind to others. We can try to be tolerant. A stranger is a friend you've never met before. It's a mindset. There's so many people you haven't met yet. Why wouldn't they be your next friend? It's how you behave that makes all the difference. People are just people. I've said it 1,000 times over. Yeah, that's your status update from Hong Kong. I'm physically fit. I'm eating well. I have friends in Hong Kong. I have global support. And I'm not about to give up. But let's see. Let's see what tomorrow brings, and next week, and next month. Stay sane and safe. Thank you for all your support. And on that note, I've felt support through 194 nations. From when we crossed the border into Germany and all the way up to where we are today. Thank you very, very much.